All right, today we're jumping into something that feels less like a research paper and more like a scientific manifesto. It's a revolutionary battle plan against one of the deadliest cancers out there. And look, this isn't about some small, incremental step forward, it's a complete rethinking of the fight. We're talking about a strategy called the phantom swarm. But first, before we get into the how, let's talk about the why. And it all starts with this one stark number: 90%. That's the 5-year mortality rate for pancreatic cancer. For decades, a diagnosis like this has been, well, pretty much a death sentence. This number is exactly why the status quo just isn't good enough and why a totally radical new approach is so desperately needed. The source material for this explainer really captures the spirit of this new fight with a powerful phrase: the silent killer's reckoning. This isn't just about a new treatment plan. It's the story of a scientific rebellion. It's a declaration of war on a disease that has had the upper hand for way, way too long.
So to really get what this rebellion is all about, you first have to understand the fortress they're up against. We're talking about pancreatic ductal adenocarcinoma, or PDAC. And believe me, this thing is an absolute beast of a disease. So what makes PDAC so tough? Well, first, it builds this physical wall around itself, a dense shield called a stroma that most drugs just can't get through. Then, it's fueled by these relentless KRS mutations. Think of them as a stuck gas pedal, putting tumor growth into constant overdrive. And maybe most importantly, it's a cold tumor. It wears a kind of invisibility cloak that hides it from our body's own immune system. You add all that to the fact that it's usually found late, and what you have is a nearly invincible biological fortress. Right. So when you're up against a fortress that strong, our old weapons, they just don't cut it. The current standard of care is absolutely brutal. And as the source material points out, it's often tragically ineffective, maybe extending life by a few months, but at the cost of devastating the patient's body. And this slide really just lays it all out, doesn't it? On the left, you've got the old way: systemic poisons, chemo, radiation. Think of it like carpet bombing an entire city just to hit one building. You might hit your target, but the collateral damage is absolutely immense. Now on the right, you've got the phantom swarm. This isn't carpet bombing. This is a special forces mission. It's a targeted, multi-pronged assault that hits the cancer from several independent angles at once, and it's designed for one thing: complete eradication with minimal side effects. So what's the actual philosophy behind this special forces unit? This is where that manifesto idea really shines. It's all built on 4 incredibly powerful core principles. First up, it's designed to be escape-proof. You see, cancer is clever. It mutates, it adapts, it finds a way to survive. The phantom swarm attacks the tumor from so many different directions at the exact same time. It hits its physical structure, its genetic engine, its invisibility cloak, that it literally has no path to develop resistance. There's just nowhere left for it to run. Second, and this is huge, minimal toxicity. Unlike chemo, which is basically poison for the whole body, every single weapon in this arsenal is like a precision-guided missile. They're engineered to hunt down and destroy only the cancer cells, leaving all the healthy tissue around them almost completely untouched. Third, and this is truly next-level stuff, it's self-regulating. The whole system has built-in sensors and safety switches, so imagine an attack that only turns on when it detects a tumor, fights like hell until the threat is gone, and then it just powers down automatically. It's an intelligent system, not just a blunt instrument. And finally, the ultimate goal: true eradication. This isn't about managing a chronic disease or just adding a few more months to someone's life. No. The goal is to completely eliminate every last cancer cell. And this is key, to train the body's own immune system to act as a lifelong guard to make sure it can never, ever come back. All right, so we've talked philosophy, now let's get into the tactics. How does this swarm actually go to work? Well, it's a beautifully orchestrated 4-wave assault. Let's go back to that fortress analogy. Step 1, you have to breach the walls. They do this using something called tumor treating fields, or TT fields. These are non-invasive electric fields that physically mess with the cancer cells and weaken the tumor's defensive structure. Step 2, you prime the target. You send in these specially engineered oncolytic viruses. They're designed to infect and basically shred tumor cells from the inside, which also sends up a big flare, calling your own immune system to the fight. Okay, step 3, send in the special forces. We're talking about CAR T cells. These are the patient's own immune cells, but they're taken out, re-engineered in a lab into elite cancer hunters, and then put back into the body to seek and destroy. And finally, step 4, you post guards.
A personalized vaccine is used to train the immune system for the long term, creating a lifelong memory so that enemy can never return.
Now, here's the most important part. This isn't just some cool idea on a whiteboard. This isn't science fiction. The architects of this plan have laid out a really concrete, phased roadmap to bring the phantom swarm from the lab to actual patients.
And here's how they plan to pull it off. They start smart, they start lean. Version 1 combines technologies that are already out there and FDA cleared, like those TT fields, with other things that are in advanced trials. This gives them the fastest possible path to helping patients. Then, once that's proven safe and effective, they roll out version 2, adding in that cellular special forces layer with the CAR T cells. And from there, they build up to version 3 and beyond, the full Rebel vision with all the advanced bells and whistles, like those self-regulating kill switches. It's just a really clever, strategic rollout. So what is the ultimate promise here? I mean, if this manifesto actually becomes a reality, what does the future look like for someone who gets diagnosed with pancreatic cancer?
You know what? This chart says it all. We go from the bleak reality on the left, a 10% 5-year survival rate, to the audacious, incredible goal of the phantom swarm on the right, a survival rate of over 90%. This isn't just an improvement, it's a complete and total reversal. It's literally the difference between a death sentence and a future.
And that really brings us to the final thought here, and it's a big one. The phantom swarm is so much more than a plan to fight just one type of cancer. It's a proof of concept for a whole new way of thinking about medicine. It challenges our deepest assumptions about what is and isn't possible. And it leaves us with this profound question. What if incurable was never a permanent fact, but just a temporary problem waiting for the right rebellion to come along?